Hey Insiders, it's your girl Nicole, aka and R the Insider here to tell you how to pick who you're gonna vote for. Y'all know we got a presidential election coming up and some midterms and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna give you the real scoop on how you should decide who you're gonna vote for. Now, before you learn how to do that, make sure you like and you comment and you subscribe, okay? Don't forget. You know, I saw this guy drinking a beer, and he seems like a guy I would want to have a drink with. Should I vote for him? You know, I really like this lady because, you know, she is friendly and she has a smiling face, and she seems like she would be a good person. Should I vote for her? No, you should not vote for people based on things like this. I'm gonna tell you guys what you should do when you're deciding who you want to vote for. Let's go. Now this is the most important thing you need to look at before you vote for anybody. You need to see who's putting money in their pockets, baby, because these people could be out here saying one thing, but they're getting money from these people who are going to be telling them to do something completely different. For example, I'm not going to say no names, but some people accept a lot of money from the pharmaceutical industry. Now, when it comes time to vote and propose legislation, what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to be worried about the people who are paying thousands of dollars in prescription drugs, or they're going to be more concerned about the pharmaceutical companies who are who are financing their campaigns? They are not going to be worried about you. So make sure you look into that. Or another example, some people take a lot of money from oil and gas. So when it comes down to environmental policy, what do you think they're going to care about? Chevron, Shell, oil and gas companies, or you? No, because you're not putting money in their pockets. They're not concerned about you. They're worried about who is putting money in their pockets. There are plenty of websites that you can see, and it's public information too, so you can see who's donating to who's accepting money, blah, 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 blah. So make sure you look into that, because these politicians, they say some good things, they say they're for this and they're for that, but once they start to get that money, you'll see. Will see, okay? So in such a diverse country, you know, we want our political leaders to look like us and to represent us, because representation matters, you know. But sometimes it's hard to vote for the person that looks like you know, whether it be your gender or your race or your sexual orientation or your religious orientation or whatever it is. It's sometimes difficult when that person does not at all embody the things that you would like for them to. So I would tell people not to look too much at people's race and gender and so on and so forth, as opposed to the other things that I said earlier, because, you know, somebody with a black face could easily go into office and not support policy or put forth policy that helps black people, you know, and that goes for everything. So I've just been telling people to make sure you look beyond what's on the surface. You know, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay. You also need to look at their past voting records and how they voted. If they've been in office before, obviously they voted on different measures and different legislation and different propositions. So make sure you check that out. Because there's one candidate that's running for president, and he ran for something before, and everybody thought he was such a big liberal and, you know, he was for the people or whatever. But then once we started digging into his voting record, we were like, maybe not so much, you know, because rhetoric and the things that they say on the campaign trail can really fool you, but it's really about what they're doing when they're in office. So make sure you check out what these people are voting for. You know, they say they can tell a lot about you by your friends, or whatever the saying is. So make sure you're looking at who these people are supporting, who they're friends with. If you are a super left-wing person and you want to vote for somebody who embodies that, but they're best friends with a right-wing person, don't you think that's kind of odd? You know, I definitely think we should be able to get along with people across the aisle. But if you're going so far as to say that you support this person in their election, in their candidacy, even though you don't get along with them, that just sounds like food to me. I think if you really are standing up for what you believe in and you're fighting for what you believe in, you cannot support somebody's candidacy from the opposing party or whatever. You know, that just don't make sense to me. So, you know, make sure you're looking at who they are supporting, okay? And sometimes they're not gonna say it, but you know, a little retweet, you know, stuff like that, giving people candy at funerals, you know, all that kind of stuff. You gotta watch out because these people, you know, I'm not even gonna get into all that, but just make sure you know who's supporting who. One thing I always told people when I was working on campaigns and volunteering on campaigns was to make sure you vote for the person and not for the party, because sometimes people be in each party or whatever party and they don't really embody what the whole party believes in, you know? Like, of course, there's a spectrum. There's people that are in certain parties that are more left-leaning or right-leaning or moderate, whatever. But don't worry about necessarily which party they're in. I think you should be more concerned about the individual person, you know? Because in this country, we really, unfortunately, have this massive two-party system, so it's kind of like you're forced to choose sides, right? And so somebody could say they're a Democrat because maybe that side has one more idea that they believe in than the Republicans, but they might not really be a Democrat at heart, you know? I hope that makes sense. So just make sure you're looking at the person and not what party they're running in. Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of people on the campaign trail say like, oh, you know, there's just gonna be a Nancy Pelosi this or a Donald Trump that. But just because they're in that party doesn't necessarily mean that they embody the ideals of the person who has the most power in that party. So vote for the person and not the party. So something I want to know about somebody before I vote for them is their record of service. Have you done anything in your community? Are you familiar with your community and have you tried to change things? Because some people just be popping up, they never did nothing, they never tried to do nothing, they never made a stand, they never did a protest, they never volunteered nowhere. But how are you going to run for office and try to change your community if you have never tried to before, you know? You don't have to be an elected official to care about your community. And so I think it's very important to have some history of that, whether it be volunteering, or maybe you're a teacher and you try to, you know, help your students. Maybe you're a lawyer, you've done some pro bono work, whatever it is, but you need to have some kind of record of you working in your community and serving the people that you want to be your constituents. Because baby, I'm not voting for you if you ain't never tried to do nothing. No. So insiders, I hope this video was informative and helped you decide a little bit more about what you're gonna do when you pick your next elected official. You know, maybe you want to vote for them based on what they voted for in the past, what legislation they put forth, or how they serve their community. But just make sure that you look very in-depth at these people, because a vote is a very precious thing and we can't just be giving them away to anybody with a smiling face and a big speech. So thanks, insiders, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.